And off we go, Week 16 grab bag. Eagles-Cowboys. Once upon a time, the biggest game of the weekend, 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Christmas Eve, just before people get pulled into their family plans for the night. Great game. The only 4:25 game on Saturday. There's like 8 or 9 1 o'clock games, a 4:05 game. It's actually a pretty good one, and a 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Eagles-Cowboys, and now most likely no Jalen Hurts. I mean, all the indications are no Jalen Hurts. Gardner Minshew is taking his place. And look, I mean, they've got Gardner Minshew for a reason. They value the backup quarterback job. Gardner Minshew played well last year. He played well in Jacksonville during his rookie season before they were so bad that they were able to get Trevor Lawrence. Well, he was the starter for 2 years in Jacksonville. So the guy can get it done. I don't know that he can get it done against the Cowboys, Chris. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. Eagles offense with Gardner Minshew instead of Jalen Hurts, with 1 being a total disaster and 10 being exactly the same as it is with Hurts. Right. What is it with Minshew?
I'm going to say a 7. I don't think it's going to be the element they're going to miss is just the quarterback design run and his ability to scramble, right? Now everything else is top notch about that football team. So, and it's not like he's so, lacks mobility to where they won't be able to, like, hey, give the ball and he can run the read option if the defense end crashes and he can get some runs like that. That'll be a part of it. But, yeah, they're going to have to play a little bit of a different style and probably live through the drop-back pass game a hair more. That's for sure. But the one thing about them, and to me, this is where it almost plays into some good things here. One of the problems, like, they have no problems. They have no weakness on their team or their roster. My only thing when I really break them down at times, Mike, is just run the ball a little bit more. Give the ball to the running backs more. They are unstoppable. And whenever they've had a big drive the whole season, that's what they've done. Oh, they were down to the Colts, needed to have it, right? They ran the ball all the way down the field. The Cowboys came back on Sunday Night Football, got close. They ran the ball right down the field. So they're going to be able to play off of that. And then, like you talked about, he's smart. He's played a lot of football. In college and in the NFL, he's played a decent amount. And play action pass, reading coverage, all that, he's going to be very good at that. So they'll lose an explosive ability. But, again, this is a really good football team. And I don't think just because Gardner Minshew is in there that they're going to fall off the map here.
By the way, Gardner Minshew missed a day of practice this week because he delivered a eulogy at Mike Leach's funeral.
Yeah.
And there's a clip of Minshew in this room. I don't know if it's a church or what, but I mean, it's a funeral setting, dropping an F-bomb during the eulogy. That is Gardner Minshew. Unfiltered, unvarnished, literally unwashed, and he'll come out and do what needs to be done. So I think the Eagles will be fine if they don't have Jalen Hurts. As it relates to all they need to do is win one game and they're the number 1 seed, and all indications are they'll have Hurts back for the postseason. Giants at the Vikings. Giants trying to cement their hold on the number 6 seed in the NFC. What's more likely in this one? The Vikings come back from down 2 scores, or the Giants find a way to win a close game? Which one's more likely?
I feel like Giants winning a close game would be more likely, just because I can't imagine the Giants getting up to a point where they're up by more than 2 scores or 2 scores in the game, right? I don't think it's crazy to think the Giants can win this game, but there's some problems that they're going to have defending the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, the Giants aren't good at stopping the run, and they like to play man-to-man coverage, and that's kind of goes right into Minnesota. Oh, now it's Justin Jefferson man-to-man? Nobody can cover him that way. So they're going to have a specific plan. But, to what we know, and of course as being Mr. Viking man over there, the Giants are going to be – I would be shocked if the Giants can't move the ball in Minnesota a little bit too and run the ball and play action.
Anybody can.
Right.
You and I could.
It's the worst defense in football, and it's crazy. I've never seen an 11-3 team like the Minnesota Vikings. It's really one of the stranger things I can remember.
Here's the reality, and I wished – in hindsight, I got so caught up in what the Vikings did in that Bills game, and they had, for me, the aura of this is the year for the Vikings.
Right.
And then they lose to the Cowboys 40-3. It made me think of, and I should have thought of this at the time, what happened after the Minneapolis Miracle. They come back and beat the Saints with that rabbit out of the hat or butt play.
Right.
And then they go to Philly and they lose 38-7. It's a lot to ask for to get the team to reset after what happened on Saturday. And they've won the division. And look, the motivation is you want to be the number 2 seed.
That's right.
Because if you have to play the 49ers, you don't want to have to go there. They just went there a couple of years ago and saw how that turned out. You want them to have to come to you. You want Brock Purdy to have to play a playoff game
in that environment.
U.S. Bank Stadium.
That's right. That's right.
But it's just not going to be easy emotionally. That's the thing. Human beings are in those uniforms. They look like robots. They're incredible athletes, but they're still human. And it's a lot to come. If Kevin O'Connell can get that team refocused from one Saturday to the next to go out there and take care of a Giants team that is trying to punch its own ticket to the playoffs, I'll be impressed. I think it's more likely the Giants win a close game because I think if the Vikings go down 2 scores, they aren't coming back. It's going to be like it
they'll
was
be like,
Cowboys.
it's all right.
We're fold the tents.
Yeah, right. I hear that, but I think your point about the 2 seed is real. I think that's just in case you don't know. I mean, you don't know how it shakes out. And what if Philadelphia somehow fell asleep at the wheel in the divisional round, and then all of a sudden you go, whoa, we're gonna host the NFC Championship game is a huge advantage, like you said, and especially if it is a Brock Purdy or really anybody, just to have to deal with that crowd noise and those elements there. It's a big difference, and especially against Brock Purdy and a rookie quarterback, and with all the pressure that's on the line. So that's where they can't lose the focus here. But yeah, the Giants are backs against the wall still, and still in a must-win situation. So there's a different psychology for both teams.
Hey, it fell into the Rams' lap last year, right?
Right.
Not that it was, felt like a Rams home game.
Yeah.
It was a 49ers home game, but still, they didn't have to go to Green Bay.
Right.
Thanks to the 49ers. They would otherwise had to go to Green Bay. They're going to win that game in Green Bay if they got to go to Green Bay? We've seen that movie before. The L.A. Rams trying to win a football game in Lambeau Field in January. That would have been very tough to do. So there is a huge advantage to being that 2 seed. You can put yourself in position to land in the NFC Championship game. And Tony Dungy's made that point before when there's been teams kind of hoping to jockey like 3, 4, or 5, like which wild card matchup is it going to give me? And Dungy pointed out the year they won the Super Bowl,
2006,
they had found one spot higher and they ended up hosting the
Patriots
AFC Championship game instead of having to go to New England. So that one spot can make a huge difference, can make all the difference in whether or not you get to a Super Bowl or not. Okay, so we agree on that one. It's more likely the Giants win a close game, but I think that there are other options there, including the Vikings finding a way to win this one because they understand the stakes. Bengals at Patriots. What will be greater? The number of Mac Jones passing touchdowns or his in-game screams, whether on the field or on the sideline, his temper tantrums, which have become a fixture in his game day repertoire.
Oh, well, I'm going with the Mac Jones sideline screams here. Throw the effing ball. Effing quick game sucks. It sucks. I mean, he's going to have outbursts this week. I mean, their offense still is not good. We know that. And this is a good Bengals defense that, frustrates a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of offenses. So we just saw them, frustrate the GOAT. I don't expect Patriots to put up a huge number as far as their offense is concerned. Their defense is going to have a day, too, here if they want to beat the Bengals. So sideline screams for me takes the cake here.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Bengals are 3-point favorites at New England, and the Bengals are that team that is still hanging around for the potential number 1 seed or number 2 seed. We just talked about the value of the number 2 seed in the NFC. They could get the number 2 seed over the Kansas City Chiefs if the Bills are the 1 seed in the AFC. We'll see how that plays out. Packers at the Dolphins. That's the first game on Christmas Day. Who will look more like an MVP in that contest? Aaron Rodgers of the Packers or Tua Tagovailoa of the Dolphins, who was the leading vote getter among all fans at all positions for the Pro Bowl. That only counts for a third, though, when you factor in the coaches and the players. It wasn't enough to get Tua on the AFC roster. Which one looks like more of an MVP on Sunday?
Well, first off, I want to comment on I'm thankful, right? To me, that would have been a travesty. Right, and that just shows you the online backing of Tua and Tuanon, and you can't say anything about them, or the mafia comes and gets you. But that would have been a travesty if Tua was in the Pro Bowl over those 3 guys. The 3 guys who were with Jalen Hurts, the leaders, and they're in the leader house as far as the MVP goes. So I'm glad that got adjusted. Now, as far as the MVP this week in that matchup, I'm going with Tua. I am, without a doubt. I mean, that Green Bay defense, it scares me. It's disappointing. I think it's overrated in its talent level. That's where I look at it too. And then now you got this offense who, again, looked good last week, answered some questions about playing in the elements in Buffalo, and now they're in their home environment and against a team that they're more talented than. I'm going with Tua in this one.
I am too, and let me tell you, Aaron Rodgers' reaction to that article from Kalen Kaler of The Athletic on Tuesday from McAfee's show. I went back yesterday after our show and read every word of that article, which I'm still convinced Aaron Rodgers didn't read at all. Watched again the clip where he was very dismissive of it, had horrible things to say about it, acted as if it was all made up. Every single quote in there comes from a current or former teammate. And I actually, when I saw the quotes from Sammy Watkins about how there's two different offenses, there's the offense that the Packers run, and then there's all the little things that Aaron Rodgers expects you to do.
You think that got
makes
him
it hard for receivers
chopped?
to get comfortable? I had a little flicker of there may be a dotted line connecting that article and the things he said and Sammy Watkins getting unceremoniously dumped on Monday.
But he said Aaron Rodgers was next level compared to Patrick Mahomes. Talk about takes gone bad. Talk about cold takes.
That was
holy crapola.
That was back when he had a vested interest in sucking up. Sucking up didn't work, so now he's telling the truth and he gets fired as a result of it. But he's not a guy who holds his tongue. I'll be interested to see if somebody asks him whether he believes there was any type of retribution or retaliation. But that whole thing was just so weird to me. It's so weird to me that they trashed this article, which was very well sourced and very well constructed and very well written and extremely relevant to understanding the dysfunction between Aaron Rodgers and these young receivers. And Rodgers, I think, wanted to shout it down because he doesn't want people to make the connection that it's his fault. Aaron, it's your fault. Good morning. Hello. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. It's your fault. The team is scratching and clawing to make it to the playoffs because you didn't do a good enough job understanding the relationship you needed to have with your young receivers. They would have been better and more comfortable sooner, and you'd be in the playoffs right now instead of hoping you can thread a needle, starting with going to Miami and winning on Sunday. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah.
I've already said everything that I can. It's not like I stopped short of saying what I believe.
Well, it's don't let the facts get in the way of a good bullcrap story, and then people just read the bullcrap and go, well, he must be telling the truth, and that's the world we're in too. People don't look up and go, well, let me see if he's actually telling the truth here, and let me do my own due diligence. That's where we've lost our way a little bit in these conversations.
Here's what pisses me off more than anything. Pat McAfee said they were all anonymous sources, I believe. And Rodgers is sitting right there, and he didn't open his damn mouth. All he had to say was, no, hey, Pat, they weren't. They weren't anonymous. They were all on the record, but I still think it's a nothing burger article. No, McAfee was wrong, and McAfee, to his credit, before mocking the article yesterday, frankly, I really am saying too much now, but he acknowledged that he was wrong about the sources being anonymous, and then he went on to mock the article, reading it word for word, apparently. I mean, the article was well done. The article was insightful. Sorry that it causes us not to have Aaron Rodgers up on this pedestal and recognize his flaws and the fact that it's on him that the team isn't in playoff contention right now. They're in contention, but they'd have a little X or a little Y or a little Z next to their name in the standings if he had done what he should have done. I guess if you were paying him $60 million instead of $50 million a year, he would have done it. Lions and Panthers, fill in the blank. Jared Goff will be blank in the Carolina Cold.
Fine. He will be fine. I think he's answered that question for us, head coach biter of the kneecaps has made him a different guy. The culture in Detroit has made him tough and aggressive, and he's not gun shy to pull the trigger as far as into tight windows throwing the ball anymore. And we've seen two instances this year. We saw it last week. We saw him when he played the New York Giants, where it was cold. The Giants game was right around 30. if not below that. And last week it was probably hovering around there. So I'm not going to let that dictate how I feel about Jared Goff. And they'll be more ready for the cold. They live in the cold all the time. They live in Detroit. I know they play inside. They're still walking to the car and living their life in 20-degree temperature. Carolina would be the more team I'd scared about with the temperature like that down there. They're not used to that. Detroit will be just fine.
Kickoff looks like it's going to be actually around between 22 and 26 when they kick off that game on Saturday. The coldest ever game in Carolina was 30 in 2010. And I think he's proven it. He's gone to MetLife Stadium twice this year and won. This is a far cry from the guy. Remember the Sunday night game, Rams-Bears 2018, he just crumbled. That's when somebody we both know began to call him Country Club. Jared Goff. But,
that's right. Yeah. You're right.
I'm not going to say who that is, but somebody we both know called him Country Club, and I haven't heard him referred to as Country Club lately. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.